Hey everyone, thanks for volunteering to read for Arizona Farm Bureau's Agriculture in the Classroom Dr. Seuss Ag Literacy event. Your local elementary school is very excited to have you visiting that last week of February and first week of March in celebration of Dr. Seuss's birthday. Hopefully this video will answer any of the questions that you have as you prepare for your presentation in your kindergarten classrooms. This year's story for kindergarten is a little different than last year's, and it's actually called Show Me the Honey. So as you might imagine, the students are going to be learning all about bees and the important role that bees play in agriculture here in Arizona and throughout the United States. The leave behind item for the students this year is a bee finger puppet. So every student in the classrooms that you go to will leave with a finger puppet. So that's a little a fun thing that they will be excited to have received. So little housekeeping information for you. One, you're going into kindergarten classrooms, so make sure you act accordingly. Kindergartners do know everything that it is that you say, so make sure you're providing them with truthful information, and make sure you are being a little bit corny, because that's what kindergartners respond to. You think you're being silly? That's exactly what the kindergartners like. That's what keeps them engaged. Also, make sure you pay attention to your wardrobe for the day of your presentations. Please make sure you're wearing pants of some sort. You're going to be standing up, kneeling down, sitting crisscross applesauce on the carpet with the kids, and you just want to make sure you're not giving them a show of any kind. So again, wear pants, and then if you happen to have a sweatshirt from your high school, or even better from your FFA chapter, please feel free to wear that the day of your classroom presentation. Now, you guys are fortunate because you are going to be going into classrooms in either pairs or maybe 3 or 4 of you in a group, depending on the size of your classroom and the number of classes scheduled in the same 30-minute time period. So with that being said, you guys want to make sure that you split into your groups and clearly define the roles that you're going to have within the presentation itself. Maybe somebody's going to be in charge of the introduction, somebody's then going to be in charge of reading the book, and then somebody's going to be in charge of the activity. With this particular presentation, there's a lot of information that's going to be said after the story. So maybe even whoever does the introduction is also going to be the person who reads the book, and then you divide the rest of the script amongst 2 or 3 other people, whoever is left. That way you just don't have to remember as much information. You might find that helpful. Now, just like the other first and second grade Dr. Seuss presentations, you're going to begin the same way, and it's just by introducing yourself. So I would go in and say, "Hi, my name is Miss Katie, and I'm here today to talk to you guys about some really neat things. But before we can begin, I need to know what special event we are celebrating this week." Now, chances are they're going to say Dr. Seuss's birthday, because every elementary school celebrates Dr. Seuss's birthday. Your intro is going to vary a little bit depending on when you're giving your presentation. Some of you are scheduled for the last week of February, and some of you are scheduled for the first week of March. It is important to remember that Dr. Seuss's birthday is March the 2nd. So you're going to vary that intro based on when it is you're giving your presentation. What's happening next week, what's coming up, or in fact, what is happening this week. And then you're going to ask them, well, who's heard of Dr. Seuss? What does Dr. Seuss do? He writes books. That's right. He's one of my favorite authors. Have any of you ever read a Dr. Seuss book before? They, of course, are going to get very excited. They're going to talk out of order, but they're also hopefully going to raise their hand. That's how you want them to show that they've read a Dr. Seuss story. All of them are going to raise their hand, so then go ahead and ask them what their favorite Dr. Seuss book is. You want to make sure that you call on every student, or give every student the opportunity, if they want to, report to what their favorite Dr. Seuss book is. I would encourage you to maybe Google Dr. Seuss and know a couple of the Dr. Seuss titles prior to this presentation, because sometimes you'll get in there and the kids don't know the name of the book, but they'll explain the book to you, and you want to be able to try and help them out with the title so that they know that you're engaged and you know what it is that they're talking about. So just a suggestion there. Now, once all of the students have told you their favorite Dr. Seuss book, I just go into saying, well, now I'm going to read you guys my favorite Dr. Seuss book. And my favorite Dr. Seuss book is Show Me the Honey. Now, what do you think we're going to learn about in this story? Of course, they're all going to yell that they're learning about bees. So what you want to do then is you just want to proceed with reading the story to the kids. Now, remember, they're kindergartners. The favorite part of the story for kindergartners is the pictures. So you want to make sure that they can see the pictures. You can't read this way and then flip and show. You want to make sure that you are comfortable enough with this story that you can read it here on the side and do that nice little arc at the end to make sure that everybody sitting on that story carpet did in fact get to see the pictures before you turn the pages. Now, as you move through the story, you're going to find that there is plenty of opportunity on almost every page for you to ask a question at the end of the page to reinforce what it is that they learned. That's going to keep them engaged if you ask them questions throughout the story. It is a little bit of a longer story, so you do want to make sure that you're keeping them engaged through asking them those questions. Now, after you get all the way through the story, you're going to ask them, well, who liked this book? They, of course, are all going to scream, yes, they did. And you say, well, that's good, because I'm going to give this book to your teacher. And that way, if you want to read it again or just remember something that we talked about today, this story will be right here in your classroom for you. Does that sound good? Of course, they get all excited and they scream, so get ready to have to calm them down again. Now, at this point, you're going to have to launch into the script that was provided for you in your teacher packet. It's pretty much word for word on what you can say. So if you practice the script, you're going to do a great job. Of course, the biggest thing that you want to emphasize is how farmers and ranchers use bees and the important roles that bees play in agriculture. Now, I just said a word that some of them may have never heard before. So as you can see in the script, we actually define what that word agriculture means in terms that they'll understand. So you get to ask them a couple of more questions about agriculture as you move through, which is good because it's going to fill up some of the time. You do have 30 minutes in these classrooms, so you want to fill that time with that question and answer session. Now, after you get through the agriculture part, you are going to talk about bees. And each student is, like I said, going to receive their own finger puppet bee. So at this point, you want to have a finger puppet that you can use for your presentation. So just take one from the envelope to use throughout the presentation. And here's your bee that you can use through the rest of the script. You guys, if you've read through the script, you're going to find that you have probably the most embarrassing presentation to give, because we are going to talk about bees, and we talk about how bees pollinate flowers, and we talk about how bees communicate with each other. And of course, they identify that bees communicate with each other through dancing. And the two different dances that bees do are the round dance and the waggle dance. You're going to learn that through the story, what those different dances mean. So hopefully you will have that clearly identified before you go into the classroom, so you know that information and can exhibit that knowledge to the students. So as you move through for the rest of the script, you're going to see that as they tell you which dance it is that they have to do, you are going to do the dance with them. So whether it's the figure 8 dance, whether the round dance, whether it's the waggle dance, you're going to stand up and you're going to have the kids stand up and you're going to give it a little waggle. All right. We know that you like to shake your booty, so that's all right. If you just follow the script, I think it's pretty self-explanatory from this point. My biggest thing to encourage you to do, again, is read through the script several times, read through the story, have fun with it. They're kindergartners. They're 5 and 6 years old. The goofier you are, the better that they think you are, the more fun that they're going to have. All right. So don't be self-conscious. Have a little fun. Shake your booty. Hopefully this video, this script answers any of the questions that you have regarding this presentation. If it does not, have your teacher email me or call me, and I'd be happy to elaborate on anything that was not covered in this video. Have fun, and thanks again for reading for Ag in the Classroom's Ag Literacy Dr. Seuss event.